ready to dive deep. DeepSeek-R1, you've heard of it, right? It's been everywhere.
Yeah, it's really blown up.
But we're not just going to add to the hype.
Right.
We're going to cut through it, figure out what actually matters, especially if you're, building something new, any kind of product.
Absolutely. That's the key.
The thing is, this DeepSeek research, it's not just about AI getting smarter.
It's bigger than that.
It's about changing how we think about making anything.
I like that.
So their research, this DeepSeek thing, what's the big deal? What stands out to you?
Well, they kind of flipped the script, right?
Right.
Like most AI, it's all about perfect, flawless, right out of the gate.
Yeah, that's typical playbook.
DeepSeek,
Right.
totally different. And it's working.
Okay, so break it down for me. They released DeepSeek-R1's, right? And it wasn't perfect, intentionally.
Yeah, it had limitations. They knew it.
Who does that? Like, why? What were they thinking?
That is the brilliance. They embrace the imperfection.
Really?
Yeah. Think of it like this. It's a live beta. They shipped it knowing there were flaws because those flaws, that's real-world feedback.
Oh, so they use the problems, the hiccups,
Exactly.
to make it better. That's the opposite of how we're taught to think.
Right. You launch a product, it's got to be perfect, right? This is saying, what if you launch it to learn?
Interesting. So less than perfect product, check. What's the next move?
So then they use this thing they call cold start data. Minimal information to get it going.
Minimum viable data.
Kind of. But think about it. Like, you're giving someone, I don't know, just the basic tools. And you're like, all right, figure out how to build something amazing. Not giving them the finished product.
So instead of overwhelming the AI with tons of data, they're saying just enough to start.
Yeah. Let it learn by doing, by interacting.
So how does that actually work?
Well, imagine it's like teaching someone how to ride a bike, right? You don't start by explaining like all the physics. You give them training wheels, let them get a feel for it.
Yeah.
They get confidence, then you remove the support. DeepSeek, same idea. Just enough data to guide the learning at first.
Interesting. So starting small is about making it simple to develop at first.
It's more than that. It's about making the AI's learning process more natural, more adaptable.
Okay, so we've got ship it even if it's not perfect and start small. What's the last piece of this DeepSeek puzzle?
This is where it gets really cool. Constant evolution. They built this multi-stage training pipeline.
Leaving.
It's always learning. It's always improving based on everything it does, all the feedback it gets.
So hold on. AI it's changing all the time, in real time.
That's the point.
It's like it's building its own smarts as it goes along.
Imagine a product that gets better literally every time someone uses it.
That is wild. So this DeepSeek approach, this is different from how most of us think about product development.
For sure.
What does this all mean for, like, someone listening right now, a product manager, let's say? How can they actually UUC this stuff?
We'll get into the nitty-gritty after the break. But think about it this way. What if you're not trying to build the perfect product right away?
Right.
What if you focus on, like, the core value? Ship a minimum viable version, get feedback, and then you use that to make it better.
So we're talking about being more agile, more iterative.
Exactly. It's about shifting your mindset. It's not build it and they will come. It's build it, learn, and evolve.
Okay, lots to think about here. We got to take a quick break, but when we come back, we'll get into the practical stuff, how to actually use these ideas, and what it means for the future of how we make things. Stick around. So we're back, and let's get down to brass tacks. We talked about DeepSeek, right? Their whole approach is kind of different. Imperfection's okay, start small, build it so it can constantly evolve. But how do we actually UAZ this stuff?
It's about a mindset shift. You're not building the perfect product right out of the gate. It's more like you're creating a system that learns as it goes.
So less about knowing everything up front and more about building a product that can ask the right questions.
Exactly. It takes a bit of humility, admitting we don't have all the answers. We're going to mess up, and that's fine. Actually, mistakes, they're super valuable. They're how we learn.
Sounds like we're ditching the waterfall method and going agile.
Right on. And how we use data. Huge changes there. DeepSeek's cold start data, that's a great example. Instead of massive data sets right away, what if we just figure out the bare minimum we need?
Okay, so be smart about the data, not just collect everything.
Yeah, ask yourself, what data does this AI actually need to start learning? What'll help us test our ideas and find what needs fixing?
That's a whole new way to think about data, not just how in us, but what matters. How do we figure out what that minimum data set should be?
Got to understand your audience, the problem you're trying to solve. It takes some analysis, trying things out, and being ready to change course.
So no easy answer. It's all about the specifics of your product and what you're trying to achieve.
Totally. And data, it's just one piece,
Yeah.
right? There's also the algorithms, the way we train the AI, how we build in feedback.
Creating a system that's made to constantly learn, that's the goal. But let's make this real for our listeners, the product managers out there. How can they use this stuff right now, today?
Product analytics is a prime example. We usually track things like, are people using this? Are they buying stuff? But what if AI could tell us WHY?
Oh, so instead of just seeing people bailing on their shopping cart, we could figure out the reason they're doing it.
Boom. That's where reasoning models come in. They look at the data, find the patterns, tell us what's driving our users.
It's like having an AI detective digging into the data and uncovering those hidden stories.
And it's not just about understanding behavior, right?
Yeah.
We're talking personalized recommendations, smarter pricing, even predicting trends.
So AI, it could completely change how we do product development, but we're missing something, aren't we? The human side of things.
You got it. AI can get really smart,
Yeah.
but we can't forget who we're building this stuff for, real people.
Right. It's not about AI replacing our gut feelings, our creativity. It's about finding that sweet spot where they work together.
That's it. AI gives us the data, the insights, even some creative ideas. But we humans, we're the ones who make sense of it, make the decisions. We build the products that make people's lives better.
And that brings us to the next big idea. How do we actually talk to AI, have a real conversation with it? We'll get into that right after this. So talking to AI, actually having a back and forth, sounds kind of sci-fi, doesn't it? But it's becoming more and more real.
It really is. I mean, think about it. We've always just told computers what to do. Now it's becoming more like a conversation.
Yeah, like instead of giving commands, we can actually talk to AI, understand how it's thinking, maybe even disagree with it.
That's the whole point of reasoning models. They don't just spit out an answer. They show their work.
So we can actually understand their process.
And that opens up some crazy possibilities for collaboration.
Like imagine brainstorming with an AI, getting its take on a problem. It'd be like having a colleague, but like a super smart one who can see patterns we miss.
Right. They can analyze so much data so fast.
It's like augmenting our own brains almost.
Exactly. We're not limited by what we know anymore. We can tap into all that AI power, explore new ideas, do things we never could before.
But this brings up a big question. If we're going to be working with AI, what skills do we need? How do we get ready for this new world?
Being able to adapt is huge. Things are changing fast. Learning new skills, being open to new ways of working, that's key. And we got to understand these systems, not just the tech stuff, but how they impact us humans.
So it's not just about coding, it's about thinking critically, evaluating what the AI tells us, spotting biases, making sure this tech is used for good.
Couldn't have said it better myself. We got to be aware of how AI affects society, work together to create guidelines, make sure everyone benefits.
It's a lot to wrap our heads around, but it's exciting too, right? The future of AI, it's being shaped right now. We can be a part of it.
That's the big takeaway here. We're not just watching AI happen. We can help steer it, make sure it's used to make the world a better place.
So much to think about. We started with DeepSeek-R1 and their unique approach. Then we got into these reasoning models. And now the whole idea of collaborating with AI.
Yeah, it's been a wild ride.
Right.
We just scratched the surface here.
But hopefully we got you thinking about the possibilities, how AI could change your work, even your life. That's what we're all about here on The Deep Dive, going beyond the headlines and helping you make sense of it all. Thanks for joining us. And remember, the future is up for grabs. Let's go make it amazing.